What a classic. And DeLorean itself, the company that was featured, the car that was featured in that iconic movie, will itself be coming up with an electric vehicle that will debut at a big car show in August. So I hope it still has the flip-up doors. And all. I just think that is beyond cool. Of course, they all have that now, right? The Tesla vehicles, a couple of their SUVs have those. Kevin, do you know what they're called, those doors, when they flip up like that?
Gull-wing.
What are they?
Gull-wing. Gull-wing.
Gull-wing doors. Thank you, Kevin, for that. That actually came from my floor director here. Kidding. But it's so cool. So there we are. Here's where we're going. Electric vehicles are all the rage right now. Of course, this idea that we can go from 4 to 5% electric vehicles and suddenly have the whole world be populated by electric vehicles, that might be a leap, at least in my eyes, looking at the sheer math. Want to get the read on all this from Emil Michael, the former top Uber executive with us right now, senior VP there. Emil, looking at the draw of these vehicles and knowing, Uber also features a lot of electric vehicles. I don't know if it wants a complete electric line, but all this in response to higher gas prices. It is changing a lot of our behavior, isn't it?
It certainly is. Anything that has gas or diesel as an input is going to go up in price or already has gone up in price, and therefore it makes alternatives much more attractive. Electric vehicles are a prime example of that.
You think about it, though. I know your old time at Uber, there are surcharges that many of the drivers could pass along, these higher gas costs and the rest, and then passengers pick up that. I mean, do you know before you were going that they were saying, maybe if we go all electric, this will be less of a hassle?
Yeah, well, the problem is electric cars are still more expensive pound for pound than a vehicle that uses a combustible engine. And so you can do that, but then, the cost of the vehicle and the wear and tear and depreciation cost is higher. So there's a balance there. I do know that years ago, the most common car on the platform was a Toyota Prius. So it had, so it had a hybrid basically, and that was economical and sort of could live in both timeframes, if you will.
Yeah, I always thought, and I'm ignorant of the technologies, and all that was the way to go, because that puppy got over 50, 55 miles a gallon. It's pretty good. But leaving that aside, this push, we're all electric all the time, I agree with you. It would have to come down to vehicles themselves a lot more, no matter how you crunch the numbers. And I don't see that happening anytime soon, nor do I see this pell-mell push to get all Americans into these vehicles. So when I hear the car companies of all sorts talk about being fully electric in the years to come, do you really think that's doable in this environment?
Not unless it's over a 10, 20-year time frame, right? The components that are really expensive about an electric car are the battery. Yeah. And those are rare earth metals that are in them. So, as more companies build cars with batteries, the price of those commodities are going to go up too. So it's not clear where the cost curve is. And unless governments want to subsidize the purchase of electric vehicles, it'll take a decade or two for more than half the cars on the road to be electric, in my view.
I'm also wondering about the charging time for different batteries. Never mind the fact that now a lot of these vehicles can go quite far on a single charge. I think 300 miles now is increasingly getting to be the minimum. I know Tesla's top model over 500 miles. That will be the game changer when they get that to these levels routinely, and the charging time doesn't take so long. Where do you see that going?
Yeah, so the supercharging time, that's technology that's being innovated on now. So I do think you'll get faster and faster charging time. Tesla has these supercharging stations, which do it, really quickly. You don't have to wait overnight in your garage. But there's also the notion of a swappable battery. Like if the automakers agreed that this was a standard battery, and instead of rolling into a gas station, you rolled into a battery swap place, then you might feel that the transition was just like it was with gas today.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. They come up with that and make it easier. Then you're off to the races because you're racing through recharging your car. Emil, looking back at Uber and your experience there, a lot of folks are saying, a lot of companies underwrite workers' Uber costs to get to and from work, especially in this city where I am in New York, where a subway ride is a dicey thing. And I'm just wondering if Uber executives and you are fearing the end of that things will return to normal, and all of a sudden the things that have been the wind at the back of Uber are no longer that way.
Yeah, I think public transportation coming back is good because I don't think it'll really affect Uber that much, because the reason why most of the public transportation hasn't been used lately is not only because of the safety reasons, but because people are working from home.
Yeah.
So if people go back to work, they're going to be both taking Subway and Ubers. And I just think it means that we will normalize our work patterns that have been abnormal for the last 2 years.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Emil Michael, very good having you, the former Uber senior VP, DPCM Capita CEO now. Good read of these technology trends and the shifts in society. Meanwhile, a bit of a shift at the corner of Wall and Broad when we were selling off a little bit, up about 200 points on the Dow. Technology is looking very, very strong today. So again, we started a new month on a bad note yesterday. We'll see if we can keep this going today. Stay with us. You are watching Fox.